T. Wood will be joining us here in a few moments. Tonight's attendance, 10,240 for a live gate of 1.07 million. $50,000 bonuses tonight, fight of the night, Rose and Carolina. And our performances, Woodley and Ellenberger. Go ahead and get started with the first question. Is that you, Mr. Morgan?
Start with Mr. Ellenberger. Obviously, congratulations on that. Just huge win for you, obviously. Can you talk about the emotions that you felt post-fight and what this really means to be back in the winning column?
All right. You don't forget the feelings after fights that don't go well. You lose, and that really sat with me in preparation too. So that really kind of set the tone, leading up to this fight. And my coaches have a lot of confidence in me, and the training. Just I guess I put more of my heart and soul in preparation, and paid off.
You talked openly about the fact that you had to get past the overthinking and just get in there and do it and be aggressive and be kind of the old version of you. It certainly seemed like you did that tonight. Do you feel like that's something you've cleared? Is this something you're going to have to continue to battle, or do you feel like you've cleared that hurdle and it's opening new doors for you?
It's one of those things I'm going to have to consistently work on. It's not like a one thing and it's over. It's kind of resetting a new me, a new version of me, and it's really just done in preparation. I mean, there should be by the time fight night comes, there's no thinking. It's action reaction, and we're. I just got to thank my coaches for that. Everybody at the gym and Kings, they're pushing me to a new level, and it really showed.
Not as tall as Dana.
Dave, I was going to actually ask you, in the cage, Joe Rogan kind of made it sound like Carolina is definitely next for Joanna. It seemed like we had talked about that as a possibility, but can you tell us behind the scenes, is that official? Is that done? Is it clear? What can you share with us?
So it's a very, very strong possibility. We'll get back together on Tuesday like we do after every big fight, but it makes a lot of sense. And Dana just did an interview on Fox with Megan O'Leary and said that's the type of fight you'd want to do in somewhere like Poland. So our options are pretty wide open right now, but that's the fight to make. That looking on social media, a lot of fans excited about that. And looks like Carolina wants to say something too.
I won't fight with Joanna. I am ready for her. She said that I'm not or her level. I think I am good enough to fight with her. I won't fight with her. Let's do this. Polish power versus Polish power.
How's that for seizing the moment?
Hey, Carolina, I did want to kind of follow up with you. You said that you're worthy.
Please, slowly. My English is not perfect.
No worries. I did want to ask you, if that is the fight that's made, what do you think it is that you have that you can beat Joanna that she hasn't seen yet?
Joanna is very good fighter. I respect her very much. She is the best on the world. Maybe I'm not the best, but I can beat the best.
Thank you. And then just quickly, if I could, for Robbie, obviously certainly a disappointing moment for you right now. How do you feel about your performance? I mean, it was just one mistake, obviously, but how do you feel about it overall?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I feel all right. I mean, obviously, he caught me with the old T. Wood bomb, and I was just sitting back a little too much, and he took advantage of it. It was his night.
And what do you think should come next for you? I mean, do you feel like it should be an opportunity for a rematch? Do you feel like you have to work your way back? What do you think?
They'll kind of decide that, but I'm going to sit back, spend some time with my family, and figure out what I'm doing next. But I'm sure Dana will decide on what's next.
Question for Jake. The kick was a phenomenal highlight for you. Is that the position that you were in when you landed that kick? Was that a place that you felt comfortable in the fight, or was that actually like a bad scenario and then just a great result where you threw a kick off the fence?
No, actually, we trained that kick quite a bit. With a good friend of mine, Giga, and Master Rafael, everyone at Kings, we trained this kick specifically from southpaw for quite a while, but that was planned.
And then just for Rob, can you go in a little bit more into the detail of just what was the game plan coming in? You mentioned right off the bat that you weren't aggressive enough, and you had a real fast opponent. Did you just feel like maybe you stood in front of him a little bit too much?
I don't know if I sat in front of him a little too much, but I think maybe right at the end he fainted, and I reached with my freaking hands, and he threw a punch over top, and he took advantage of an opportunity, and he did a great job.
and just something I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak on, because it just seems like right now a lot of the speculation that surrounds you is how much have these wars, taken out of you, and then now you've suffered a loss. It's your first loss in a while, but that's going to be more speculation. People are going to say, well, did those catch up to him? Do you see that as any kind of a factor, whether it was in camp or tonight, just some kind of something that lasted on past those fights?
No, I think it's just a guy who took advantage of a big punch and rocked me and jumped on and finished the job. I mean, I'm not going to speculate, and I felt great going into the fight, so no excuses.
Well, thanks.
Questions, guys? Ariel?
A question for Nikita. Congratulations on the win. Other than the top 4 guys in the division, if we include John Jones, there's obviously Anthony Johnson and Glover Teixeira fighting next month. There seems to be not a lot of young, up-and-coming talent in your division. How far away do you think you are from being involved in that discussion?
Кроме топ-4 бойцов в твоем дивизионе, нету молодых бойцов, которые чем-то были хороши, чтобы попасть туда. Что ты думаешь будет следующим для тебя? И как ты себя видишь в будущем?
Очень сложно сказать. То есть я предпочитаю оставлять свою карьеру оставлять ее в руках матчмейкеров UFC, поэтому я учусь, я двигаюсь вперед. Если следующий мой соперник будет из топ-10, я буду рад. Если он будет из топ-15, это меня тоже особо не потревожит. Моя задача драться, выигрывать, и в любом случае я рано или поздно приду к своей цели.
Well, basically, I don't care. I would wish to fight opponent from top 10, but if it's from top 15, I won't be sad about it. But what I need to really to do is win whatever comes next, and UFC matchmaker is gonna think what is the best for my career.
Okay. Question for Carolina. Hello. Congratulations. In the first round, you weren't very active. It seemed like you were trying to sort of figure her out and see how the fight was going to go. Can you speak on that? Is that what was happening? I mean, I think most people had her winning the first and you clearly winning the second and third, but what were you seeing in the first round that led to you doing so well in the second and third?
I just start fighting. I need time to, I don't know how to say. Sometimes I need a little bit time to fight.
Okay. And then I just had 2 other ones. One for Robbie. Was it, in hindsight, I know you didn't make much of it beforehand, but was it at all weird fighting someone who you were somewhat friendly with?
No, not at all. I'm a mean individual, and this is what I do for a living, so I would have had no problem doing the same to him.
Okay. And just for Jake as well, you've had big fights, but considering the circumstances, would you say this is the greatest moment of your career, just given everything you've been through over the last couple of years?
It's definitely up there. I would say it's one of the best ones. But I would say it's also been the most, as far as preparation goes, it's been the most put in for a fight too. So, I can't thank my guys enough. I've been working with Nick Curson at Speed of Sport and Rafael Cordero, everybody at Kings. Just the preparation, like I said, my coaches believe in me, and Daryl Christian too with the wrestling, and so it's like I said, preparation was everything, and so it's up there for sure though. To answer your question.
All right, guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to let this group go. You have one more here? Okay, go ahead.
Question for Carolina right here. I saw you Thursday. Let me ask you, right now you're 10-0. You're undefeated. Why would Joanna say that you're not on her level when you're undefeated? You've beaten everybody. Is this she has some kind of problem with you?
I don't know why. I think she's scared, just like that. Yeah.
Got you. And Robbie, I have one for you, man. When you saw Tyron come at you and you say you dropped your hands, Was there any thought to maybe keeping him up because you know he's coming at you with the right hand? I mean, would you
Well,
think like
first of
maybe-
all, he threw a jab.
Uh-huh.
And when you throw a jab, I went to parry the jab, and then he went over the top. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, that would be something that you'd want to do. Maybe I would want to circle over to the other way and then,
Right.
or be further away too, and then maybe he wouldn't have been able to touch me with his right hand, or I could have. There's a whole bunch of stuff I could have done and didn't.
Right, I got you. And no disrespect to you on that, you know, I didn't mean that. I just wanted to see if you had thought to do that.
I didn't think to do that.
Jake, can you talk a little bit about how this fight came to be? How did you have to talk to Dana? How did this come about? What did you have to do in order to get this fight?
Well, I've had a lot of tough fights. And also I've had a lot of adversity as well. So I think, when they came to me with the Brown fight, I knew it was going to be a tough fight, and he's one of the toughest guys by far in the UFC. I mean, durable. So like I said, everything was going to had to be spot on in preparation. So, from sparring to our warm up, everything had to be. There's no room for error. So, it paid off tonight.
All right, we're still a few minutes away on T. Wood, so what we're going to do is let these folks go, and then we'll restart the press conference with T. Wood in a few. Thank you, guys. Champ, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, Robbie, do you think you deserve a rematch, being that you defended your title so many times?
Obviously, I think if I went back in there, I'd get a win. Deserve and actually getting are two different things, but yeah, I feel like I deserve something, and but we'll see if I get it.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Jake. All right, the new champ is here. John Morgan, why don't you start us off?
Tyron, I know it's still fresh for you right now, but has it soaked in a little bit? Give us an idea of the emotions that you're going through right now.
It hasn't really sunk in yet. I just been having this surreal training camp where, everything has been stress-free. Duke, Rufus, and Dean Thomas has done a phenomenal job preparing me, giving me the confidence. I've had some amazing training partners, and I was just nervous that I wasn't nervous. And someone just told me, you got to enjoy this moment. You've been in this sport for 10 years, and you've never enjoyed the moment. You never received the walkout crowd. And I just felt confident to enjoy this moment. I knew I was going to be the world champion.
You told me that you saw yourself knocking him out. Was there something, was it that right hand that you thought it was going to be, and is there something in his tendencies that you thought that was going to be there?
I saw myself several times knocking him out in several different rounds, and I visualized it over and over again. I do a lot of visualization, but it wasn't something, a chink in his armor that really showed me that. It was just, I knew he would be thinking about my wrestling. I knew he would be thinking about my right hand. So we had several different plays, as we call them, to get to that right hand or get to a powerful punch.
And we didn't get to see the interview, but apparently, following social media, you said you like Nick Diaz as the first defense of your
I
belt.
want to make some money now. I'm going to be honest. The goal one is to be the welterweight champion of the world, but I put in too much time. I'm away from my family way too often. This is a sport where we can make cash now. So instead of just saying this person deserves it and he worked his way through the rank, I think Nick Diaz comes off suspension in 2 days. I would love to fight him on 202. I know his brother's fighting. I think he deserves it. He's a guy that's been around the sport. He put a lot of butts in the seats, sold a lot of pay-per-views. So why not put him on a big card with Conor and his brother? I know he's training already, and let him cash out. So I'm willing to give give him that opportunity. Or I would like to fight George St. Pierre in New York City.
A lot of people are saying Stephen Thompson should get that first shot. Does that not interest you? Or?
Stephen Thompson said he wanted to fight Robbie Lawler. He said it was a better matchup. The fans would be excited to watch it. He'll get an opportunity to have that fight.
Thanks, Darren.
Over here in the front.
Mr. Woodley, being that you're a big part of the Ferguson community, and with all this going on over this past summer, what does this victory mean for your community of Ferguson?
It means a ton, you know. I said this in several interviews. In 1996, Muhammad Ali lit the torch here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I think it's him passing the torch when he passed this year to pass it to us athletes, not just African-American, all athletes, to use our platform to impact, to inspire, to give back to our community. So I'm excited for this because I'm one of the athletes that have taken that charge. I'm okay with going out there and giving back to our community, talking to our youth. And, you know, it means the world to me because I'm a kid that grew up in Ferguson. You know, a lot of people told me I wasn't going to be something or do something, and I've always proved everybody wrong. A lot of people didn't think I deserved this shot. They didn't think I should be fighting for the welterweight title, but I'm sitting here in front of you as a welterweight champion of the world, and it's because I have a great family, a great support system, great trainers, great wife. My mom has, you know, been the backbone of my life. So everybody's giving me the tools to be successful, and I think I can push that on to some youth in Ferguson.
Go ahead, Brett.
Hey, Tyron, this question might kind of sound like out of left field, but there have been a lot of UFC champions lose recently. There's just been a lot of turnover at the top. And I just wonder if you were, I know that you're self-motivated, you're completely self-confident, but do you take anything away from, you know, you're booked as a challenger in a title fight and you see someone that's similar to you, like a Stipe Miocic or an Eddie Alvarez or someone like that, win a title? I mean, does it do anything for your confidence level seeing something like that?
You know, I never really saw those guys as that large of an underdog. You know, Eddie Alvarez is a stud. He's been around the game for a long time. Amanda Nunes, I've been telling people that forever. I said she can compete with a lot of the male bantamweights in the 8th American top team. I just saw her stopping her, and everybody thought I was crazy, but I saw her stopping that fight. And, you know, just some of the other guys, I don't think it's a landslide. We get the entertainment aspect in mixed martial arts in the UFC, but it's also people that are working their butt off, and they're trying to be champions. So I don't think it's like the season of the underdog. But once all those guys won, I'm like, man, if I don't win, I'm going to break the streak. So, you know, it wasn't any added pressure. It was actually just something, you know, kind of we laughed about. And the same thing with Fox. You know, I'm one of the analysts on Fox, and all those guys either have had or currently have a belt, and it was my opportunity to go out there, and I didn't want to let everybody down, so I had to make sure I came home with the goal.
And last thing, you know, to follow up on the Nick Diaz comments and the George St. Pierre comments, will you do anything in addition to basically just publicly stating that's who you want next? Like, will you have a conversation?
Those guys want to make money. I don't think. I'm not a guy that hates athletes. You know, Robbie Lawler is a guy that I admire. I love his comeback story. No other mixed martial artist has had a comeback story like Robbie Lawler. He came back, you know, he had a subpar record in Strikeforce. He had some great moments, some bad moments. He switched weight classes. He came back and he went on a storm. I technically just beat the best welterweight in the world. It wasn't a guy out of his prime. It wasn't a guy that hasn't been on these 3 wars back to back to back. These guys are legends. You know, Nick Diaz is the top 5 welterweight of all time in my eyes. George St. Pierre is the #1 welterweight in my eyes. If I'm an athlete in this sport, in this division, and I want to say I'm the best in the world, I feel like I should compete against those guys. So I don't feel any obligation to go by the rankings. We all know how those rankings are produced anyway. And I want to go out there and I want to fight the money fights.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm going to take 2 more, guys. Got one right here.
You went into the octagon early today. You were talking about visualization. What did you visualize when you were in the octagon before anybody else got into the arena earlier today?
How you know I was here earlier today? Sneak attacking me. I like to go in the octagon to see if it's slippery, #1. Sometimes the adhesive spray is not as sticky as it is in other locations. So I need to know where I can throw kicks from. I need to know if I go for a takedown, where I slide, if I'm on top ground and pounding, where my feet come from underneath me. I know it sounds crazy, but it's just something that makes a lot of sense when you're fighting. Also, I just want to feel the moment. You know, I want to walk in there. I want to see the stands empty. And I really, as hard as I can, I try to make the octagon and the stands empty when I go out there. So I don't have the pressure, I don't have the fans, I don't hear the screaming. So when I walked out there, I saw a couple of celebrities, I saw a couple of friends, but then I went tunnel vision. I blocked everybody out, and I only heard Duke and Dean Thomas. And also, I want to see the size of the cage. Every cage is not the same size. Some cages like a 29, right, and the one's like a 31.
25 and a 30.
Yeah. So that one seemed to be a smaller cage. So I know I need to get
It's
in there and
actually
get
a bigger
after
one.
it. Is it a bigger one?
Yeah.
Well, it
You
felt
made it
smaller.
small.
Well, good. Well, I like to see that stuff because, you know, your heels hit that fence, and sometimes it's not a good thing against Robbie.
And obviously one of the bigger storylines going into this was the whole American Top Team versus American Top Team. But for you, this has got to be special. You started with them, you've been through the whole thing, and now you've got the championship belt to take home.
Yeah, you know, I think I'm the first product that they've produced from amateur. You know, when I first started with American Top Team, I wasn't even fighting yet. I was a collegiate wrestling coach. I was punching the bag here and there, and a buddy of mine who's actually here, he found Eve Edwards for me, and I started coaching him in wrestling. Then I started doing amateur fights. Then I started training Dean Thomas, Thiago Alves, and all the guys at the American Top Team, and I used to get my butt kicked. I was a bag of bones. You know, Tyron come and spar this guy, Tyron come and spar that guy. I used to spar twice a day, with the heavy guys in the morning and the light guys in the evening. So with that said, I've earned my key to walk around with the American Top Team flag. You know, I've recruited for the team. You know, I've set up booths at NCAA wrestling tournaments and try to get people to join the team. You know, I got a lot of pride in American Top Team, and it makes me feel awesome that I can be one of those guys that say, hey, you can join this team. You can be a cardio kickboxing student and decide to want to fight, and you have a chance to be a world champion.
T-Wood, congratulations on the belt and your $50,000 performance of the night bonus. We'll see everyone in Salt Lake City. Thank you.
Declaring the winner by submission, Nate Diaz! I'm not surprised.
This is the game. We win some, we lose some, but I will never shy away from a challenge.
You were about to quit the fight game. I never quit, ever. Better step it up for this one.
The only approach I changed is I dug the grave a little bit wider, a little bit longer. I'll bury him.
You better hope it goes down like that.
It's another day. I'll come back.
On Saturday, September 17th, the UFC Octagon arrives in Hidalgo for the first time with an unforgettable fight card. In the main event, two hard-hitting lightweights put it all on the line as Dustin Poirier and Michael Johnson face off. Plus, top 10 middleweight finishers Uriah Hall and Derek Brunson look for a signature win. Catch all the action of UFC Fight Night live at State Farm Arena September 17th. Tickets on sale